Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Gardener. So a lot of times people tend to ask me when is the right time to repot succulents that have been purchased from your local nursery. Now, yes, it is important to repot your succulents once you get them from your local nursery. Now, of course, if you're buying it online, around 99% of the time the succulents are going to come bare root. They are going to be wrapped either in toilet paper or newspaper or any kind of paper. But when you tend to purchase them from your local nursery, they are going to be potted. Now, the reason why it's very important to repot your succulent is because we are not very sure what soil mix has been used by the nursery people, and most of the time it turns out to be a very heavy soil mix, or I would say a very organic soil mix that tends to retain moisture. And a lot of times what I've seen is around 90% of the people who haven't repotted the succulents or have left the succulents in the same pot, they had issues with rot or the succulents starting to die, or it having issues with the roots. Probably after 2 or 3 months. It doesn't happen immediately, but it happens over the period of time, and that's because the mix that they tend to use tend to retain a lot of moisture. So it's always important to have a complete control over the soil mix. That's why I always tend to make my own soil mix. It's always important to make your own soil mix because you would have a more upper hand or a complete control over the soil, and that is the most important thing. So when is the right time to repot your succulent? I would say, let's say if you have bought the succulent today, then you can wait for a day or so, let the succulent just relax in the new environment, and probably on the second or the third day you can go ahead and repot it. But there is another important thing: whenever you are repotting your succulent, ensure that the soil in both the pots, that is the succulent that is already existing in the pot and the succulent that you're shifting to your own soil mix, both of the soil mix should be completely bone dry. So a lot of times when you buy the succulent, the soil is already moist, so wait for that nursery soil to completely dry and then take it out and put it into your soil mix. Ensure that if the succulent is in coco peat or any kind of organic matter, try to clean the roots as much as possible and then put it into your soil mix. This is very important, guys, to have a complete control over your soil mix, because we never know what kind of soil mix the nursery or the garden center is using, especially if they are not very well versed with succulents. As I said, the rot or the damage does not happen in couple of days. It takes couple of months, probably a month or two. Around 90-95% of the time, the people who have killed their succulent is because they have not changed the soil, and the soil that was present in the nursery pot was very heavy and organic, due to which the succulents started to have issues. So it's very important that you do repot it. If you are purchasing succulent from a seller who is growing his own succulents and uses his own soil mix, if you can talk to the seller and understand the soil mix, and if the person is using a very gritty soil mix, then probably you do not need to change. But around 95% of the nursery people, they tend to use peat moss or coco peat or a very high amount of organic matter or regular garden soil. So ensure that you are making changes to it. Again, if you are from a place which is very humid and which is very hot, even then it is better that you change it after some time, because otherwise that might happen to damage your plant. The best thing what I would advise is, do not buy succulents when the temperatures are very high. If the temperatures are above 40 degrees Celsius in your city, try and avoid. But if you want to purchase it from a local seller or your local nursery, and then after 2 or 3 days you can go ahead and change the soil mix. But it's very important to do this, because we want to ensure that the soil that we are using is lean in nutrients, is not very organic rich, tends to dry out fast. At the same time, it is porous and well draining and does not retain a high amount of moisture, because moisture is something that tends to create a lot of problems. So we want to be extremely careful. Apart from that, high amount of organic matter, again, that can cause issues with either mold, fungus or pest attack. So we do not want a very high organic rich soil. They will do very well in lean nutrient soil as well. So guys, that's all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. And if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep propagating.